There was a time when California represented the archetype of the American dream, a place where ambition met opportunity, where the sun shined brighter, the money flowed faster, and the future always felt within reach. But the California of 2025 tells a very different story, one that very few people are willing to admit. Behind the postcard beaches and the Hollywood glow, the Golden State is facing a housing correction that is deeper, more complex, and more destabilizing than most Americans realize. Prices are softening in once bulletproof cities. Insurance costs are exploding. Climate risk is reshaping entire counties. And demographic trends, migration, income stagnation, and job instability are rewriting the rules of real estate. This isn't just a dip. This isn't just a cool down. For some markets, this is the start of a long, painful reset. In this extended investigation, we break down the 10 worst cities to buy a home in California in 2025, not based on hype, but based on affordability metrics, job trends, climate exposure, insurance volatility, migration data, and real-time market performance. If you're thinking about buying, renting, investing, relocating, or even staying put, you cannot afford to ignore what's happening. California is changing, and not slowly. Let's begin the countdown. Number 10, Los Angeles. Where dreams are expensive and reality is even more costly, Los Angeles has always lived in a league of its own, cultural capital, entertainment hub, global magnet for creators and dreamers. But beneath the glamour, LA is struggling under the weight of its own growth. In 2025, the median home price still hovers around $870,000, but the median household income is barely $75,000. That mismatch creates one of the worst affordability ratios in America. For the average buyer, a standard mortgage now requires over $4,200 per month, even before taxes, insurance, or maintenance. Add in 7% mortgage rates, and for many families, LA becomes a financial impossibility. But affordability is only part of the problem LA is facing: doubling insurance premiums in fire-prone areas, rising crime in multiple districts, shrinking population, over 32,000 residents lost since 2023, longer listing times, homes sitting 45 to 90 days, price cuts on 23% of listings in Q1 2025. The dream is still sold. The reality is increasingly difficult to afford or justify. LA remains iconic. But buying a home here in 2025 means navigating uncertainty that didn't exist 10 years ago. Number 9, Oakland. A city with culture, grit, and resilience, now wrestling with instability. For years, Oakland was considered the affordable alternative to San Francisco, diverse, vibrant, and full of promise. But the city's challenges have converged into severe housing headwinds. The median home price sits above $720,000, but the median income is around $80,000, creating a fragile economic structure. What's more worrying are the underlying red flags: highest property crime rates in the Bay Area, 30% of listings cutting prices in early 2025, homes sitting unsold for 60-plus days, insurance premiums rising 45% in just 3 years, 12,000 residents leaving since 2023. Oakland's cultural resilience is strong, but buyers are increasingly cautious. Investors, they're leaving; families, they're relocating; insurance carriers, they're raising prices or walking away. The market is losing demand faster than it's losing inventory, and that is a dangerous pattern for any buyer to ignore. Number 8, Stockton. A city attempting to rise again, but weighed down by affordability and instability. Stockton has long been a symbol of California's boom and bust cycle, and unfortunately, the city is once again showing signs of financial strain. The median home price is around $480,000, but the average household income is only $66,000, leaving thousands of families in a precarious financial position. Warning signs are flashing. 28% of listings cut prices in Q1, homes linger on market 50-plus days. Foreclosures up 17% year-over-year, crime ranking among highest in the state. Oversupply from new construction in the outskirts. But the real concern is mortgage resets. Thousands of adjustable-rate mortgages taken during lower interest periods are now adjusting upward, and household budgets are cracking under inflation and rising living costs. Stockton isn't collapsing, but it is bending, and the pressure is building. Number 7, San Diego paradise with a price tag and a growing list of hidden risks. San Diego remains one of California's most desirable coastal cities. But 2025 reveals a painful reality. Paradise is becoming unattainable. Median home price, $850,000 applause. Median income, $82,000. This pushes a typical family to spend 40% of their gross income on housing alone. But affordability is only the first crack in the foundation. Insurance costs are exploding due to wildfire exposure, coastal erosion. Rising sea levels, storm damage risk premiums are up 50% since 2020, and some insurers have pulled out entirely. Meanwhile, 24% of listings saw price cuts in Q1. Luxury condo markets are oversupplied. Traffic congestion is worsening. Population growth has stagnated. San Diego is still gorgeous, but for buyers, the math is brutal. When the cost of living outpaces wages and insurance outpaces value, a market becomes structurally unstable. Number 6, Burbank, Hollywood's quiet suburb, now strained beyond sustainability. Burbank has long been considered a safe, clean, desirable community, close to the studios, family-friendly, and full of charm. But 2025 brings a harsh reality. Median home price, $1 million median household income, $90,000. The gap is unsustainable. Add in 7% mortgage rates, increasing property taxes, rapidly rising insurance costs, record heat waves, wildfire threats from nearby hills, corporate layoffs in entertainment and tech homes that once sold in days are now sitting for months. Sellers are applying 10% plus price cuts just to get traction. The problem isn't demand, it's affordability. The problem isn't desirability, it's sustainability. When a middle-class family can't afford a middle-class home, the market enters a slow-boil crisis that feels invisible until it's undeniable. Number 5, Santa Cruz. Bohemian charm with a shocking price tag and worsening climate exposure. Santa Cruz has always had a magnetic pull. Surf culture, redwoods, creative energy, and coastal beauty. But in 2025, the reality is far from dreamy. Median home price, $122 million. Median income, $85,000. This creates one of America's worst price-to-income ratios, and the climate threats are stacking fast. Flood-prone zones, coastal erosion, wildfire exposure, insurance premiums up 40% since 2022. Many buyers cannot even qualify for insurance. And without insurance, you cannot close a mortgage. Meanwhile, 25% of listings saw price reductions in Q1 days on market, doubled since 2023. Young families are leaving investor activity collapsing. Santa Cruz is breathtaking. But buying here in 2025 means accepting high risk with questionable return. Number 4, Santa Barbara. Luxury, serenity, and beauty, with a cost few can bear. Santa Barbara is one of the most visually stunning places in America. But the financial reality is sobering. Median home price, $1.5 million median income. $90,000, even high earners struggle here. And the cracks are widening. Listing times up 60% year over year, 30% of homes cut prices in Q1. Wildfire threats every dry season, mudslides during storms, insurance premiums above $5,000 for many homeowners, service workers leaving city limits. Local businesses struggling to hire. Santa Barbara's beauty is real, but so are its vulnerabilities. The housing market may look serene, but underneath, economic stress is building. Number 3, Palm Springs. A desert oasis overheating, literally and financially. Palm Springs once symbolized glamour, leisure, and escape. But the desert reality of 2025 looks different. Median home price, $675,000. Median income, $70,000. That alone strains affordability. But the climate-related issues are what truly shift the market. 60-plus days above 110 degrees in the past year. Electric bills skyrocketing, drought restrictions tightening, water bills ballooning, wildfire zones expanding, insurance premiums up 50% in 3 years. Added to this is a market imbalance, overbuilding, investor oversaturation, 31% of listings with price cuts, homes sitting 50-plus days unsold. Palm Springs still draws tourists, but buyers? They're becoming hesitant and fast. Number 2, Mendocino beauty and isolation, now turning into risk and instability. Mendocino is stunning, rugged cliffs, quiet forests, and a dreamlike escape from the chaos of the cities. But the housing reality is far less romantic. Average home price, $650,000 plus or median income. $60,000, that mismatch is severe. But the deeper issues are structural. Limited healthcare access, poor broadband infrastructure, fragile roads, frequent power outages, wildfire exposure every summer, insurance premiums exceeding $4,700 annually. Carriers pulling coverage entirely. In Q1 2025, 35% of listings had price reductions. Demand fell to decade-low levels. Remote workers returned to cities or suburbs. Mendocino is peaceful, but peace alone doesn't make a sustainable housing market. Number 1, San Francisco, once untouchable, now unraveling. San Francisco was built on innovation, disruption, and limitless possibility. But today, it stands at the center of California's most dramatic real estate correction. Median home price, $135 million, but demand has collapsed. Since 2021, 50,000 residents have left, vacancies climbed across the city. Tech layoffs reshaped the economy. Remote work emptied downtown corridors. Commercial real estate is imploding. Nearly 1 in 3 homes cut prices in Q1 2025, and the pressures don't stop there. Property crime remains high. Public transit struggles with funding. HOA fees exceed $1,800 for many condos. Insurance premiums surpass $6,000 annually. Luxury real estate sits unsold for months. San Francisco still has brilliance, but brilliance doesn't erase economic gravity. The housing market here is not correcting, it's resetting. Closing thoughts. California is still beautiful, still ambitious, still full of culture and opportunity. But when it comes to housing, 2025 is a year of reckoning. Affordability is collapsing. Insurance systems are straining. Climate pressures are rising. Migration patterns are reversing. Local economies are shifting. Before you buy, before you invest, before you relocate, you need to understand the landscape clearly. If this deep dive helped you see the full picture behind the headlines, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Across.us4 brings you truth, not hype, not sales pitches, and not outdated narratives. Your future deserves clarity, your money deserves protection, and your decisions deserve information, not illusions. More breakdowns coming soon.